clearly, I think I'm knowing.
You didn't sound too confident when you said that.
I have a hard time saying I love you.
Well, you don't have to say it. I asked the
But
question.
I
You can just
feel
say
like,
yes or
yeah.
no.
So
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're talking to you guys about, well, the ultimatum, marry or move on, specifically dealing with Riah and her inability to say I love you. And the question I'm really asking is Riah unable to say I love you to Trey, or is that in general? Now, she told us it's in general, but I think it also plays a big part the fact that her and Trey are emotionally disconnected. We're not going to put the blame on anybody to say whose fault it is that they're emotionally disconnected. But what we do know is they are disconnected. And so let's have a real conversation. Why do people end up struggling to say I love you? And where does that leave Brian in the situation? Now, we know obviously the fact that, he leaves the process, but where would that have left Brian in the terms of the relationship? Because when I hear that I struggle to say I love you, I'm out the door nowadays. See, beforehand, I wouldn't have been. I'd have been there trying to heal the person, trying to be there, be the person that you actually say I love you, trying to gain some validation from actually you being able to say I love you to me. Now I'm like, okay, that's lovely. I appreciate that. You know what? You struggle with that. I think I need to leave you alone. I don't think I need to be in your space. I don't think I need to be in a space where you're struggling to say I love you. I don't need to be in a space, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to put myself in that situation. And am I trying to be Captain Save a Ho? Sorry, I shouldn't say save a ho, but save a person when I stay in such a situation. So I was wondering where Brian was going to go with it, to be honest. But luckily enough, I guess if you want to say that, fortunately enough, he ends up he got Lisa pregnant. So let's talk a little bit about this as well. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, help us get to 100k. We want you guys to subscribe to this channel because we put out awesome content about different reality TV shows, and we try to go as deep as possible and try to bring as much psychology to the foreground so they can help you as well. So if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe, and click on that bell button for notification, the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, we know what it is, baby, you got the minerals. And for those of you who are returnees to the channel, stay hydrated as well, because the screens out there, they are hot. All right, they are very, very hot. Let's get back into this conversation. Let's play a little bit more of the clip as well.
for me, like, there's something missing. For me, that's
Okay,
what
so
it was.
yeah, it seems like you just answered the
Yeah.
question. Okay.
My biggest thing was like coming in, I was like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I need, but I feel like I'm missing that.
Now she's gonna let us know that she feels like she's missing an emotional connection with Brian. And that's why I asked the question, is it that she's not emotionally connected in general, or that she's missing the connection with Trey? And I think there's a bit of both, right? I think there's a bit of both going on. And there's no, the two have implications, right? If it is Trey, then she's capable of saying, I love you very easily. It's just that she's in the wrong relationship. If it's not Trey, then actually we've got a bigger problem. There's a root cause we need to deal with. I think there's a bigger problem at hand. And I'll tell you why. Because I think when you go back to the very first episode and you break it down, when she starts talking about her family background, the fact that she's seen divorces and situationships, how she spoke about the TikTok stuff, because he did a romantic gesture, there's a larger issue there when it comes to the emotional connection of the side, right? Now, someone could say, she can grow to love you, she can grow to understand this stuff. Yeah, but that requires an awesome amount of patience that not everybody has, number one. Number two, I'm not responsible for that. You need to grow in that area yourself. I think what we see with Riah, and I think someone on our live, somebody mentioned it, the way she even asks both James and Brian, she was like, Brian, you're gonna be coming to cuddle me? And I said to James, are you gonna be basically shacking up with me, basically, right? She asks those questions almost in the sense of to get a little bit of validation that they want her, they desire her, right? And that for me screams somebody who hasn't been seen, hasn't been heard. And oftentimes the reason why people struggle to say I love you, why you're struggling to say I love you, is because you haven't been seen and you haven't been heard. Your feelings have not been honored. And actually there's a fear behind expressing your feelings, because if you express them, it won't be seen and it won't be heard and it won't be acknowledged. And if it's not going to be acknowledged, it's going to hurt again. It's going to make you feel like you're not important and you're not worth anything. And so you struggle to express your feelings because you're struggling to express, because you haven't been given time and room to be able to do that in your younger formative days, right? So it can be very hard to speak out loud how you feel, the internal cog work that is spinning in your mind. I understand that, you know. But specifically with Trey, there are some things that have been mentioned, right? On both their sides. He mentioned later on with the conversation with Lisa how actually they don't have much in common. That's a big thing. If we don't have much in common, why are we talking? Why are we in a relationship? Why are we dealing with each other, right? Clearly, he's got an arm candy kind of girl, and he has to actually look at himself, and we'll address that in another video. He's got an arm candy type of woman, and that speaks to you, Trey. And for her, you've got a man that's doing everything for you, but you don't want him to do everything for you. You've already mentioned that in episode 1. You don't want to be just taken care of. You want to be able to earn and do your own kind of thing. So there are key components here that are missing within the relationship. And as she goes on to say about that emotional aspect where she mentioned about she wants to go on romantic dates, she wants to be taken out, she wants to do this, she wants to do that. She wants to feel that spark, but isn't feeling it with Trey. There's a lot that's happening behind the scenes. Let's have a little bit more of a look.
Emotional connection. And that's what I'm learning. Like, I didn't think I needed it that much, but I do.
But just love.
Now, what's interesting is that she said she didn't realize how much she needed that emotional connection. And a lot of times when people are not as emotionally connected to their own feelings, the realization that they need emotional care comes a little bit later. I think she's seen that she needs emotional care because in reality, she's met somebody who has more emotive language. I spoke about this on a live with Leanne, Ready to Love, right? And I spoke about her language isn't necessarily emotive. And so when you speak to her, it's colder than other people. There's a lack of that emotive language, the passion that comes through your language that people can feel and begin to be drawn to because we're emotional beings. And so I think the experience is beginning to show her and open her up to the fact that it's not just about attraction. It's not just about him spending money. It's not just about you feeling safe financially and physically. Are you emotionally safe? Because are you able to share your thoughts and your feelings? Are you able to share how you feel right now? Are you even well-versed enough to even assert yourself in that manner? Right? Because it takes two, right? Oftentimes it's him not being also open and aware of her needing that emotional connection, but also her as well struggling to able to express what's on her mind because she doesn't practice it enough doing it, right? She doesn't believe that her voice is important.
Mean to you?
It's like for me, it's like that feeling. It's that unspoken feeling. It's like that bond, that connection that, you know.
It's definitely that feeling. Wait.
So I love the fact they talk about this feeling, this love, this feeling. That's one aspect of it, right? Love is one aspect of this feeling, right? You talk about feelings when you talk about somebody that you love. The initial aspect that we're normally looking for is that butterfly, that immediate surge. And a lot of times what that is what that is the infatuation. It is the lustful aspect that begins to bring that surge. What happens is once that dies down, there's a need for obligation. There's a need for commitment. There's a need for looking beyond feelings and actually, am I willing to be dutiful and action? And so sometimes we can all get caught in, you see my video on Dear Future Wife, I spoke about this. We can get caught up in the feelings. And when the feelings are gone and we no longer have that riding on that wave, we're forced to confront how we actually feel. See, that ride the wave feeling is quite overawing. It's pink shades. But once that wave begins to die down and you have to look at the landscape, you have to fully now address what you're actually seeing. And at that point, that's when love begins to really take place. The honeymoon phase, the waves, are to get you deeper into the ocean. And once you're deeper into the ocean, you then make it, you now really see, whoa, I'm deep. Okay, I got to be committed. I'm committed. Let's keep going forward. That's how it looks like, right? And I think, I don't know how much of a positive imagery she has of love because of what she described about her background in terms of family as well, right? But let's have a last little look at this.
I feel like if you feel that, like, yeah.
That's it. That's the one.
You and me, stars in our very own galaxy.
Now it's interesting because I feel like them two had a chemistry. Can't lie to you. These two had a very strong chemistry, and I think there was a lot that was going on. I felt like they were beginning to see some sparks. There was an initial attraction, and I think He liked her natural easy go, that he wasn't being impressed and pushed and pulled by her like Lisa was doing to him. I think he liked that energy, you know. But unfortunately, again, because of the pregnancy, he will never know. And he's out the show now. So, yeah, just a little something to help you guys. If you are struggling to say I love you, the root cause you might want to look at is, what are my belief systems? So, my voice. Do I believe in me being able to share my emotions? Have I been allowed to share my emotions? And if that's the case, we have to start practicing actually little by little expressing our true emotions. Our fear is that somebody won't hear us, but don't worry about them hearing you. They heard. They just don't need to take on what you said, but they heard, right? Don't worry about it. Okay, go and say it. Yeah, what you're feeling. All right, be wise. Don't forget, help us get to 100K. Subscribe to the channel as well. We want to definitely